The new Pariah Nexus card deck changes match play forever, but only a bit, and only if you want it to. Only a bit, like it's still the same match play, it's still the same card thing. It's 50 points on the primary, 40 points on the secondary, 10 points for making sure everything painted. It's still the thing, but it changes it a bit, like putting sugar in tea. It's, you know, it's sugar with tea, sugar without, completely different, but still tea. So it changes it a bit, and only if it wants to, because you don't have to play with this. You can play with the old Leviathan mission deck, you can play with the old open war decks, Maelstrom of War decks from previous editions. You can play 40k your way, making up rules as you go along. I recommend Murder Bowl, it's lovely. Or throwing squigs like Dodgeball, or just trying to kill each other if you're new to the game. That's a pretty good one. But now we have a new Pariah Nexus mission deck, so what does it all mean? And thanks to Games Workshop for sending it through to me. They're available for pre-order from today. Well, as I said, from before, 50 points on the primary, 40 points on the secondary, so we know about this. 10 points if you slap some paint on your miniatures. And if you're good at slapping the paint on and put lots of paint on and it's really gorgeous, and you don't get any more points, but you're winning as a hobbyist, please keep being you. But anyway, get your points the same way. Some of the primary missions have changed. Some of the secondary mission cards have changed. Some of the secondary mission cards you'll know, like No Prisoners, Assassinate, Behind Enemy Lines, those ones. And you can pick two, or you can cycle through the whole deck, just like you could before. But they've tightened up actions. So if you're trying to do secondary actions, now you can't do those actions such as cleanse a thing or sabotage a thing. Some of the actions have changed. You can't do actions if you've got no C of 0, so there's no more of those pesky scarabs or things like that going off trying to do actiony things. And you can't do actions if you advance. This is a big one, because all of a sudden running onto an objective and being able to shoot assault weapons, you could still do actions. Not anymore. So that's gone, along with the OC0 things. But knights can do actions, they can still shoot. That's nice. And in the primary mission special, the mission special rules that you add on to your primary missions, they've made battle line units a bit more important if you pick one of these. So for example, battle line unit swift action, that advance or fallback can still perform actions. Or stalwarts, battle line units that perform an action are still eligible to shoot or raise banners. A battle line unit, if you control an objective at the end of the turn, you can raise a banner on it. You can only ever do it on that objective once, and you get an extra point. They've got things for battle line units to do in the special rules, which I quite like. Then you play the game the same, couple of different deployment maps there, couple of different special rules, couple of different cards as you're flipping them through. And then at the end of turn 3, if on the primaries you have equal or less points than your opponent, you can choose to say, I'm going for a special mission now. And the secret mission is worth 20 points at the end of the game if you manage to nail it down. You can still continue to score primaries. Say you're on 25 points, they're on 25 points, end of turn 3. You can go, okay, I want to equal. I'll go for my secret mission. And you end up on 35 points on the primary, 40 points on the primary. Then you add the 20 points from the secret mission onto the top. But it caps at 50. Okay, so that's how that works, and there's 4 secret missions, and one of them you're never going to pick, called Shatter Cohesion, which is make sure that the enemy doesn't control any objectives at the end of the game. That's going to be really tough to pull off. But Command Insurgent means capture the enemy's objective, essentially with your Warlord unit or units around it, but control it, your Warlord's there. That's 20 points. You'll do that one if the enemy is typically bringing some cultists and leaving them at the back, and World Eaters going, "Rrr!" Then you could deep strike behind them and take the thing. Or units just walking on from strategic reserve can come on from your opponent's board edge and steal that off of them with your Warlord attached. That one you might do. War of Attrition might also do this one as well, particularly if they don't bring any battle line units. This one says if there's no battle line units, enemy battle line units on the table, so they might not bring any battle line units, they might not have any battle line units. But if there's none on the table and you get your battle line units, just one of them in their deployment zone, and it doesn't say wholly within the enemy's deployment zone, you get 20 points. Easy if they're not bringing any battle line units. And then Unbroken Wall. Are you good at holding objectives? How about 3 that aren't in your zone? Then you get plus 20 points. So these secret missions, if you're equal or lesser than someone on primary points at the end of turn 3, You could pick a couple of, you could pick one of them. It's obviously secret. You reveal it at the end of the game, plus 20 points up to a maximum of 50 if you get it. And they seem quite situational to me. One of them seems impossible. The other ones seem possible, depending on what sort of army you bring and depending on what sort of army you're going against. Seem very possible to me. And that kind of tailoring will help increase the tournament rankings, I guess. For the rest of us filthy casuals, you know how they tried to bring in the Gambit deck in the Leviathan deck? No one ever did it because it was impossible. This is along those lines. Some of these are possible sometimes, so it'll be fun for us casuals to give it a whirl. Being very clear about what an action is and who can do it is helpful. Some of the deployment maps are a bit more interesting than some, of course, we know. And then, yeah, changes to primary missions and mission rules and some of the secondary cards, freshening up the game. It's good. It's the same game, but it's, it's clenching. It's doing the squats. It's having a proper clench. And sometimes you just got to unclench. You just got to let go a little bit. Stop that aneurysm from happening. Anyway, that's the Pariah Nexus mission deck. I mean, it's nice for match play bruisiness. I like it. I like that tightness. It's good. I just hope at some point there will be a brand new mission deck for us filthy casuals out there that don't want it so tight. And we're getting older now, and we don't run around as much. We let it go. We let it sag a bit more. Far too many chocolate hobnobs, things like that. Something that'd be nice to balance. 2 sets would be nice. What would also be nicer is if you click the subscribe, like button, or if you want to, become a massive member, become a channel member. If you get a tier 3 channel membership, you get an extra battle report every single Winter's Wednesday. Help support me. I'm looking at investing in a big hobby dungeon, and so every membership counts. See if we can build a dungeon. Anyway, thoughts in the comment section below. Happy wargaming.